Quotes from Robert Charles Sproul. From the Kindle, Deep Christian Quotes and Bible Verses. First quote. A married person does not live in isolation. He or she has made a promise, a pledge, a vow, to another person. Until that vow is fulfilled and the promise is kept, the individual is in debt to his marriage partner. That is what he owes. You owe it to yourself is not a valid excuse for breaking a marriage vow but a creed of selfishness. Second quote. The only freedom that man ever has, is when he becomes a slave to Jesus Christ. Third quote. For the soul of a person to be inflamed with passion for the living God, that person's mind must first be informed about the character and will of God. There can be nothing in the heart that is not first in the mind. Though it is possible to have theology on the head without its piercing the soul, it cannot pierce the soul without first being grasped by the mind. Fourth quote. It's dangerous to assume that because a person is drawn to holiness in his study, that he is thereby a holy man. There is irony here. I am sure that the reason I have a deep hunger to learn of the holiness of God, is precisely because I am not holy. I am a profane man, a man who spends more time out of the temple than in it. But I have had just enough of a taste of the majesty of God to want more. I know what it means to be a forgiven man and what it means to be sent on a mission. My soul cries for more. My soul needs more. Fifth quote. True faith always produces real conformity to Christ. Sixth quote. What is the difference between the Christian God, and the gods of the other religions? He simply, yet profoundly answered, the main difference is this, the God of Christianity exists. Seventh quote. To be spiritually dead is to be diabolically alive. Eighth quote. Anyone who takes his faith seriously and speaks in behalf of Christ and his kingdom, will be accused of fanaticism at some point. Ninth quote. The great misconception in our day is this, that God isn't concerned to protect his own integrity. He's a kind of wishy-washy deity, who just waves a wand of forgiveness over everybody. No. For God to forgive you is a very costly matter. 10th quote. Scratching people where they itch and addressing their felt needs is a stratagem of the poor steward of the oracles of God. This was the recipe for success for the false prophets of the Old Testament. 11th quote. The Word of God can be in the mind without being in the heart, but it cannot be in the heart without first being in the mind. 12th quote. Disciples of Christ abide in His Word. Those who abide in His Word know the truth and are free. 13th quote. At its root, this is what faith is. It is not believing in God. It's believing God. Thanks.